Have you ever found yourself sitting on the edge of your bed in the morning, wondering why your legs feel heavier than they used to? Maybe you used to walk around the block with ease, or climb stairs without a second thought. But these days, even a short walk leaves you feeling like you need to sit down and catch your breath. It's easy to think, well, I'm just getting old. But what if that's not entirely true? You see, not everyone slows down just because of age. In fact, many people well into their 80s and even their 90s can still stand tall, walk comfortably, and stay active every single day. So what's their secret? In today's video, we'll explore a quiet truth that many don't realize. Sometimes, the weakness we feel in our legs isn't simply due to aging. It's due to something missing in our bodies. A simple lack of key nutrients could be quietly draining our strength, little by little. But the good news is, once we understand what our bodies truly need, we can start to feel stronger again step by step. We'll talk about the vital vitamins that play a powerful role in leg strength, balance, and healthy circulation insights that may surprise you. This isn't just about science, it's about your everyday life, your independence, and your well-being. So if you've been wondering why your legs aren't as strong as they used to be, or you simply want to keep walking through life with confidence, stay with us until the end. There's a special tip at the end that might just make all the difference. This is more than just a health video. It's a quiet conversation about how to take care of yourself from the inside out. Because senior wellness begins with understanding what your body is trying to tell you. Sometimes, it's the little things that change the course of our days, like noticing how heavy your legs feel after just a short walk to the mailbox, or how sitting on this porch suddenly feels more appealing than strolling around the neighborhood. For many older adults, it's easy to believe this growing fatigue is just part of getting older. But what if that feeling of weakness isn't just about age? Take the story of Mr. James, for instance. At 74, he used to love walking to the local farmer's market every Saturday morning. But over time, his legs began to feel sluggish, and just a few minutes of walking left him winded and looking for a bench. He thought perhaps it was arthritis, or maybe just the years catching up with him. But then his daughter suggested he might be missing something simple, a key vitamin. In another town, we meet Ms. Evelyn, a lively 72-year-old who once led a small walking group for her church. She was always the first to arrive, ready to chat and move. But lately, her legs felt like sandbags, and she found herself staying home more often than not. She assumed it was just part of growing older until a friend shared her own experience and mentioned trying a vitamin-rich supplement. What both James and Evelyn discovered wasn't some miracle cure, it was knowledge. After adding just 1 tablespoon a day of the right vitamin to their meals, something shifted. Gradually, their strength returned. They didn't feel like they were climbing mountains again, but walking felt easier, and everyday movements no longer came with that heavy, dragging sensation. It's important to understand, this wasn't about expensive treatments or complicated regimens. It was about identifying what their bodies were quietly asking for and responding with care. When you nourish your body with what it truly needs, especially in your golden years, the difference can be felt in something as simple as walking across the room with ease. For those of us who care deeply about senior wellness, stories like these remind us that aging doesn't have to mean surrendering strength. Sometimes, it just takes the right kind of support to help your body do what it still longs to do. Move, stretch, stand, and live fully. And yes, even a single spoonful can begin to restore what you thought was lost. There are days when we wake up feeling strong and ready to take on the world, and then there are mornings when even getting out of bed feels like lifting a heavy weight. If you've ever found yourself wincing from a sudden leg cramp in the middle of the night, or holding onto a railing a little tighter as you walk down the stairs, you're not alone. These moments can feel unsettling, especially when they seem to appear without warning. But sometimes, what we experience as weakness, stiffness, or even nighttime muscle cramps isn't just a sign of aging. For many older adults, it's actually a quiet signal from the body, a sign that something essential might be missing. And that something, quite often, is vitamin D. Let's take a moment to think about Miss Lorraine, age 72. She used to be a regular at her community center's dance class and never missed her Sunday morning walks around the lake. But over the past year, her legs began to feel heavier. Simple activities that once brought her joy became tiring. One afternoon, while heading to the pharmacy, she suddenly felt faint and had to sit down on a nearby bench, not from pain, but from sheer weakness. She chalked it up to getting older. But after a checkup and a few conversations, she learned her vitamin D levels were far lower than they should be. You may have heard vitamin D called the sunshine vitamin, and for good reason. Our bodies naturally produce it when our skin is exposed to sunlight. But as we age, our ability to synthesize vitamin D from the sun decreases. Even if we spend time outdoors, our bodies might not be absorbing enough of it to meet our daily needs. And here's where it matters. Vitamin D is critical not only for strong bones, but also for healthy muscles. It helps our bodies absorb calcium, which is the foundation for bone strength. But beyond that, vitamin D plays a direct role in how our muscles function. Without enough of it, Muscles can feel weak, unsteady, or prone to cramping, especially at night. Some seniors even report being jolted awake by painful leg cramps, mistaking it for a natural part of aging, when in fact it may be their body gently asking for support. Studies have shown that low levels of vitamin D are linked to an increased risk of falls and fractures in older adults. That's why for those of us focused on senior wellness, keeping an eye on this one nutrient can make a meaningful difference. If you often feel tired after just a bit of movement, or your legs feel shaky even without much exertion, it might be worth checking in with your doctor to see if vitamin D is playing a part. Fortunately, there are gentle, everyday ways to support your body. A bit of morning sun, just 15 to 20 minutes, can help many people get their daily dose, especially in warmer months. But for those who live in cooler climates, or spend more time indoors, sunlight alone might not be enough. That's where food and simple supplements can help. Vitamin D can be found in nourishing sources like wild salmon, egg yolks, fortified milk, and cod liver oil. Some seniors find that just a spoonful of cod liver oil in the morning is enough to boost their levels and reduce those unsettling nighttime cramps. Over time, they feel more stable on their feet, less tired after walking, and more confident in their daily routines. The beauty of caring for ourselves as we age is that it often comes down to tuning in, listening to the small messages our bodies send us, and responding with kindness and understanding. For those committed to senior health tips and living fully in our golden years, adding vitamin D into your daily rhythm may be one of the simplest, most powerful choices you can make. And remember, if you're unsure about your current vitamin D levels or the best way to supplement, it's always a good idea to speak with your healthcare provider. After all, your well-being deserves thoughtful care every step of the way. There's a certain kind of frustration that comes when your body doesn't quite move the way it used to. Maybe your legs feel a little numb after sitting too long, or you notice a slight tingling in your feet that wasn't there before. At first, it might seem like nothing, but over time, those little sensations can turn into real concerns, especially when your steps become unsteady, or your legs feel like they have a mind of their own. For many older adults, this isn't just aging, it could be your body trying to tell you something deeper. One of the most common yet overlooked reasons behind symptoms like numbness, muscle twitching, or poor coordination is a deficiency in vitamin B12. Let's think about Mr. Harold, 76, who always enjoyed morning walks with his dog, Max. One day, he noticed that his feet weren't quite keeping up with him. His stride felt off, almost like one leg was dragging behind the other. He also started to feel occasional tingling in his calves and found himself needing to concentrate more, just to stay balanced. At first, he thought it was just part of getting older. But after a visit to his doctor, he learned he was low on vitamin B12, a key nutrient that helps support nerve health and muscle control. Vitamin B12 plays a vital role in our nervous system. It helps maintain the protective covering around our nerves and supports healthy red blood cells, which carry oxygen to our muscles. When your B12 levels are too low, the signals between your brain and your body can get delayed or disrupted. That's why some seniors may feel like their feet are moving in slow motion, or not moving quite the way they want them to. What makes this especially important for senior wellness is that, as we age, our ability to absorb vitamin B12 from food naturally declines. Even if you eat a balanced diet with meat, eggs, or dairy, your body might not be taking in enough. This is because B12 absorption depends on stomach acid and intrinsic factor, both of which decrease with age. So what can help? For many older adults, adding more B12-rich foods to meals like beef liver, eggs, sardines, and nutritional yeast can offer a natural boost. Nutritional yeast, for instance, has a slightly cheesy flavor and can be sprinkled on soups, rice, or even added to smoothies. Others find benefit in B12 supplements designed for seniors, which are often easier for the body to absorb. Carol, age 70, started adding nutritional yeast to her oatmeal each morning. Within a few weeks, she noticed her feet felt more responsive, and the strange buzzing sensation she'd felt for months began to fade. It wasn't a miracle overnight, but the slow return of strength and coordination gave her confidence to stay active. That's the beauty of gentle adjustments in our golden years sometimes. Just being more in tune with our body leads us to real, lasting improvement. And for those of us focused on senior living, knowing how something as small as a missing vitamin can affect balance, reflexes, and energy is a powerful reminder of how connected everything truly is. If you've been noticing small changes in how your legs move, or if you've felt tingling, weakness, or delayed reactions, it might be time to check with your doctor about your B12 levels. Because sometimes, the path to stronger steps starts with something as simple and essential as giving your nerves the fuel they need. Some mornings, it feels like your joints just don't want to cooperate. You wake up, stretch gently, and yet there's that familiar stiffness in your knees, or that deep, lingering ache in your hips. Maybe you move a little slower, getting out of bed, or take a few extra seconds before stepping down the stairs. It's easy to assume this is just how things go as we get older. But what if part of that discomfort had less to do with aging and more to do with what your body isn't getting enough of? Many people don't realize that vitamin C, the same one we often think of for colds and flu, plays a much bigger role, especially when it comes to joint comfort and recovery. For those of us focused on senior wellness, understanding this connection can be a gentle turning point. Let's take Ms. Dorothy, 78, who loved gardening and chatting with her neighbors on long walks. But recently, she found herself avoiding her front yard. Her knees would stiffen after sitting too long, and even bending over to pull a weed felt like a struggle. The smallest movements became tiring, and she noticed it took longer and longer for her body to bounce back from simple tasks. After learning more about joint health, she discovered something she hadn't expected. Her vitamin C levels were likely too low. You see, vitamin C isn't just for the immune system. It's also one of the body's essential tools for building collagen, a protein that gives strength and flexibility to joints, ligaments, and muscles. As we age, our natural collagen production begins to slow, which means our joints lose some of their cushioning and elasticity. When there's not enough collagen, even small movements can feel like a strain. What's more, vitamin C acts as a powerful antioxidant. That means it helps the body fight off inflammation, especially the kind that builds up slowly over time and contributes to stiff joints or persistent soreness. Conditions like arthritis, morning stiffness, and general aches often have an inflammatory component. And while there's no one-size-fits-all solution, making sure your body has enough vitamin C can support your joints in healing and functioning better. Dorothy decided to try adding more vitamin C to her mornings. Instead of a drastic change, she simply stirred a spoonful of acerola cherry powder into her tea each day. After a couple of weeks, she noticed something small but meaningful. She could squat to check on her tulips without wincing. The soreness began to ease, and she slowly returned to the garden she loved. This kind of shift isn't magic. It's the result of listening to your body and giving it what it needs. Citrus fruits like oranges, grapefruit, and tangerines are classic sources of vitamin C. But don't overlook the richness of strawberries, bell peppers, and kiwi, which offer a refreshing variety of ways to support your body through food. For those who prefer something more concentrated, acerola cherry powder is a wonderful option. It's easy to mix into water, smoothies, or oatmeal, and contains far more vitamin C than a single orange. As we continue to explore senior health tips, one thing becomes clear. The key to comfort and strength isn't always found in big changes. Sometimes, it's in the quiet power of nutrients that help your body rebuild from within. So if you've been feeling like your joints are taking longer to warm up, or your knees aren't bouncing back the way they used to, consider whether your vitamin C intake is truly supporting you. And of course, if you're unsure about what's best for your body, it's always wise to check with your doctor. Because in this beautiful stage of senior living, we deserve to move through life with more ease, less pain, and the freedom to do what we love, even if it starts with something as simple as a spoonful of fruit powder each morning. Some days, walking across the room feels easy and light. Other days, your knees feel stiff, your ankles resist movement, or there's a strange tightness that makes you slow down, not from fatigue, but from discomfort deep in your joints. If you've ever wondered why your legs feel heavy or your steps less fluid, you're not alone. And while many of us chalk it up to aging, there may be another reason, one that often goes unnoticed. That reason may have to do with how calcium is behaving in your body. It sounds strange, doesn't it? We're taught to believe calcium is good for us, and it is. But without the right balance, calcium can sometimes end up in places where it shouldn't be. Take Mr. Ron, for example. At 75, he prided himself on staying active. But over time, his knees felt stiffer in the morning, and he began to notice a slight grinding when he walked up the stairs. His legs weren't necessarily weak, but they weren't moving like they used to. When he spoke to his doctor, he was surprised to learn that his body might be storing calcium in his joints and blood vessels, instead of directing it to his bones where it truly belongs. This is where vitamin K2 quietly steps in. Vitamin K2 plays a unique and essential role in your body. It doesn't build bones directly, but it tells calcium where to go. Think of it like a traffic director guiding calcium out of your soft tissues and into your bones and teeth. Without enough K2, calcium can settle in places like your knees, ankles, or even arteries, making movements feel rigid or achy. Over time, that stiffness can build, and the smooth, natural way you used to move starts to fade. What makes this especially important for those of us focused on senior wellness is that many older adults have enough calcium in their diet, but not enough K2 to manage it properly. And when calcium ends up in the wrong places, the result can be discomfort, slower movement, and sometimes even an increased risk of falls. Thankfully, vitamin K2 is found in a few nourishing and accessible foods. Fermented options like natto, a Japanese fermented soybean dish, sauerkraut, and aged cheeses such as Gouda and Brie are rich in K2 for a more familiar flavor. Grass-fed butter and ghee also offer a gentle, natural source, Just a spoonful each day added to your toast or steamed veggies can be an easy step toward balance. Ms. Elaine, 73, began adding a little ghee to her morning oatmeal. After a few weeks, she noticed her knees felt less stiff, and walking to her mailbox no longer felt like such a chore. It wasn't a dramatic change, but it was a meaningful one. She felt more confident on her feet, more stable in her movements, and more in control of her daily routine. As we continue to nurture our health in these later chapters of life, it helps to know that the small things like guiding calcium to the right place can have a lasting impact. For those seeking steady steps and flexible joints, vitamin K2 may be the missing link, not a cure-all, but a quiet helper working behind the scenes, reminding us that senior living is about more than just adding years. It's about adding comfort to every step. There's something unsettling about being jolted awake in the middle of the night by a sudden, sharp cramp in your leg. It's not just the pain, it's the way it lingers, leaving you cautious even in your sleep. Or maybe you felt that strange heaviness in your thighs after just a short walk, as if your legs are carrying more weight than they should. These moments may feel isolated at first, but over time, they can add up and they can quietly drain your energy and confidence. For many older adults, these recurring cramps, leg fatigue, and occasional tingling aren't random. They may actually be your body's gentle way of asking for more of something essential: magnesium. Let's think about Mrs. Jean, 71, who loved starting her mornings with a walk around the block. But lately, she found herself needing to sit down after just 10 minutes. Her legs felt weak, almost numb at times, and by the end of the day, she often battled restless nights because of sudden muscle cramps. After some reflection and a conversation with her daughter, she learned that low magnesium might be playing a role. Magnesium is a quiet yet powerful mineral that supports muscle relaxation, nerve function, and blood flow. It works behind the scenes to help your muscles contract smoothly and then release. When magnesium levels drop, muscles can become tense and overreactive, leading to those unexpected cramps or that sensation of heaviness in your lower body. Over time, even mild magnesium deficiency can leave your legs feeling tired, unsteady, or low on strength, especially during the simple activities you used to enjoy. What makes this especially relevant for senior wellness is that our ability to absorb and retain magnesium tends to decrease with age. Diet changes, medications, or health conditions can also play a part. And when magnesium is in short supply, circulation may be affected as well, making it harder for oxygen and nutrients to reach your legs efficiently. The encouraging news is that magnesium is found in everyday, nourishing foods, leafy greens like spinach and kale, chia seeds, almonds, and especially pumpkin seeds offer excellent sources of this vital nutrient. Just a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds added to your morning oatmeal or salad can make a gentle difference over time. Mr. Paul, 74, began sprinkling roasted pumpkin seeds over his soup each night. Within a couple of weeks, he noticed his nighttime leg cramps became less frequent, shifting from nightly discomfort to an occasional nuisance. His morning walks felt easier, and getting out of bed no longer came with the dread of sudden stiffness. Small changes like this are what senior living is all about: listening closely to what your body needs and responding with kindness, patience, and care. And if you've been experiencing leg fatigue, tingling, or muscle tightness, consider asking your healthcare provider whether magnesium might be part of the puzzle. Because in the journey of aging well, sometimes the difference between struggle and ease lies in something as simple and powerful as a single mineral. And that's the kind of senior health tip worth remembering. There's a certain discomfort that's hard to put into words when your legs feel cold, even under a warm blanket, or when your feet swell after sitting for just a short while. Maybe you've felt a strange numbness in your calves, or a heaviness that makes walking across the room feel like a chore. These quiet symptoms are easy to dismiss, but over time, they may be your body's gentle way of asking for support. For many older adults, these issues aren't simply part of aging. They can often be signs of poor circulation, something that may be linked to a lack of vitamin E. Let's think of someone like Mrs. Clara, age 76. Every afternoon, she loved sitting by her living room window with a book. But lately, her feet always felt cold, no matter how many layers of socks she wore, and her ankles, they seemed puffier than usual. Even though she hadn't been on her feet much, she assumed it was normal, just part of slowing down with age. But as she began learning more about her health, she realized she might be missing a simple yet powerful nutrient. Vitamin E is best known as an antioxidant, but it also plays a vital role in supporting healthy blood flow. It helps keep blood vessels flexible and reduces the risk of them becoming stiff or narrow. When circulation is sluggish, especially in the legs, you might feel tingling, swelling, or a persistent sense of coldness. That's why for those of us who care deeply about senior wellness, vitamin E deserves a closer look. The good news: you don't need a complicated routine to add more vitamin E to your life. Foods like sunflower seeds, spinach, avocado, and almonds are rich sources. And if you're looking for something more concentrated, a spoonful of wheat germ oil each day can be a gentle and nourishing addition to your routine. You can drizzle it over vegetables, mix it into oatmeal, or simply enjoy it as is. Clara started adding wheat germ oil to her breakfast, just a small spoon each morning. After a few weeks, she noticed her feet weren't as cold, and her legs felt lighter throughout the day. It was a subtle shift, but enough to help her feel more comfortable and more confident in her daily routine. As with many things in senior living, sometimes the smallest changes bring the greatest relief. If you've been feeling that nagging heaviness in your legs, or if your feet often feel cold and numb, consider what your circulation may be trying to tell you. And of course, it's always wise to speak with your doctor if you're unsure, because staying well isn't about doing everything at once. It's about noticing the signs and giving your body the quiet care it needs, one small step at a time. That's the heart of senior health tips that truly matter. Some aches seem to arrive without warning. You bend down to tie your shoes and feel a sharp pull in your knee, or you step off the curb and notice a strange, lingering discomfort in your ankle. It's not always intense, but it's enough to make you pause. And over time, you might begin to wonder why your joints take longer to recover, or why simple movements feel less smooth than they used to. The truth is, our bodies rely on more than just strong muscles and bones to stay flexible and resilient. Deep within our joints, tendons, and ligaments lies a quiet support system made up of connective tissue. And two key players that help maintain that system, collagen and copper, are often overlooked. Think of Mr. Walter, 69, a retired handyman who always prided himself on being active. But recently, climbing into his truck became a challenge. Not because of pain exactly, but because his knees felt like they couldn't quite push off the way they used to. After a bit of reading and a nudge from his daughter, he learned that his body might be low on the very nutrients that help keep connective tissues strong and responsive. Collagen acts as the glue that holds our joints together, giving them flexibility and cushioning. As we age, our natural collagen production slows down, and without enough of it, joints can feel stiff, sore, or slow to heal. But collagen doesn't work alone. It needs copper, a trace mineral that helps build and stabilize the collagen framework. When collagen and copper are both in short supply, recovery becomes slower, joints feel weaker, and even small movements can lead to strain or irritation. That's why supporting both nutrients is a gentle but meaningful part of aging well. Luckily, nourishing your connective tissues doesn't require anything fancy. Bone broth rich in natural collagen can be sipped like tea or added to soups and stews. Copper can be found in foods like mussels, peanuts, and even a square of dark chocolate. These simple additions can quietly help your body rebuild the strength beneath your skin. For Mr. Walter, adding a warm cup of bone broth to his lunch and a handful of roasted peanuts in the afternoon became part of his new rhythm. Within weeks, his knees felt more reliable, and the stiffness he once noticed after sitting too long began to ease. It's a gentle reminder that taking care of your body isn't always about dramatic changes. It's often about paying attention to what your joints are asking for. With time, warmth, and the right support, movement can feel smoother again. And that's a quiet kind of strength worth holding on to. Some days, even after a full night's rest, your legs still feel tired, not sore, exactly just worn out, as if they've already walked a mile before you even left the house. It's a quiet kind of fatigue that can make everyday activities feel just a bit harder than they used to. If this sounds familiar, you're certainly not alone. As we grow older, our muscles don't bounce back quite as quickly as they once did. Recovery takes longer, and endurance may start to slip. But what many people don't realize is that this isn't always just a matter of aging. It can also be linked to something as simple as a lack of vitamin A. Let's think about Mr. Glenn, a 74-year-old who still enjoys walking to his neighborhood park every afternoon. Lately, though, his legs have felt heavier. He used to take the incline path with ease, but now finds himself pausing halfway to catch his breath, not from being winded, but from the slow burn of muscle fatigue. It wasn't until he revisited his diet that he realized he'd been missing something important. Vitamin A is often celebrated for its role in eye health, but it also plays a quiet and crucial part in muscle repair and tissue regeneration. It helps the body recover after physical effort and supports the strength of skeletal muscles, especially the calves, which carry so much of our weight day after day. Without enough of it, muscles may feel weaker, take longer to heal, and fatigue more easily. Even more, vitamin A contributes to the maturation of collagen, the structural protein that supports tendons and ligaments. When your body gets enough of this vitamin, not only do your muscles feel stronger, but your joints and connective tissues also become more resilient. Thankfully, vitamin A can be found in many nourishing foods. Squash, sweet potatoes, and leafy greens like moringa malunggay are rich plant-based sources. For those who enjoy animal products, chicken liver and dairy such as cheese or milk are excellent ways to naturally boost your intake. Mr. Glenn began incorporating roasted butternut squash and a bit of cooked spinach into his lunches. After a couple of weeks, he noticed something encouraging. his legs didn't feel as worn by the end of the day. His usual walks became less tiring, and that hill in the park, he was able to take it without stopping. In these golden years, moments like that matter. They remind us that strength can return, that our bodies are still capable of healing and adapting. And sometimes, all it takes is giving your body the nutrients it quietly needs to keep you moving forward, step by steady step. As we reach this point in the conversation, one simple truth gently comes to light. Staying strong and walking with confidence in our later years isn't just about willpower, it's about giving our bodies the right kind of support from the inside out. Our legs carry us through life's many chapters, and as we age, they deserve a little extra care. Supporting them with the right essential vitamins can make a quiet but powerful difference, helping you maintain balance, strength, and independence in your daily life. Whether it's through nourishing foods or gentle supplements, these small choices can add up to lasting wellness. Of course, if you're currently taking medications or managing health conditions, it's always wise to check with your doctor before adding new supplements to your routine. Every step toward better senior wellness begins with informed care. Because in this season of senior living, the goal isn't just to grow older, but to move forward with grace, stability, and a life full of steady, confident steps. As we come to the end of this video, I hope you're reminded of just how much strength still lives within you. Your body may change with time, but your ability to care for it with patience and love remains just as powerful. Every thoughtful step you take today is an act of honoring your health, your independence, and your journey. Growing older isn't about losing what once was. It's about finding new ways to support yourself, gently and wisely. You're not alone in this path, and there's beauty in knowing that, at any age, we can still choose to grow, to heal, and to thrive. Take good care. You deserve it.